her success is not your failure. There's no need to compare yourself to someone else. If you're authentic and you give the world your best and you want to share that with the world, that's a gift. And you have to be proud and be grateful.
Hello, Caitlin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. Caitlin Wilson here. If you don't know her, you really should, because she does the most beautiful interior design and has the most beautiful website, and you can purchase furniture and wallpapers and anything under the sun. And so we're so excited to have you on the show. All right, so that segues us perfectly into the point of the show, the big question. What is the best advice you've ever gotten?
Okay, that is a hard one. I have far too many things that have kind of kept me going along the way all these years. But for sure, one of the first pieces of advice someone gave me, I don't even know who it was fake it till you make it. And I tell people that all the time because especially in my field, in interior design, especially for someone like me who is more of a product designer, less of a trained CAD designer. I take on projects occasionally for clients, but I really focus most of my time designing product. So I think it's super important to have confidence as a designer, as anything. You really, in this day and age, you don't necessarily do what you were trained in college to do. So I think we all have to not pretend, but, yourself and be confident when maybe you don't have all the answers and you don't have all the experience. So that was probably the first best piece of advice. Another one that I love is, and you could say hers or his, but her success is not your failure. And I think in this Instagram world where we live, which is where I started my business, started on blogspot.com, but transferred over to Instagram shortly after. So, there were times over the years where people either, were doing something really similar to me and I felt threatened, or, you feel insecure because you see someone does something and you think it might be better than you, or you feel like you're never going to measure up, or you're young in the game and you don't know how you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be. I certainly was there, and in many aspects, I'm still there. I'm always trying to achieve more and do more and meet those big life goals and career goals that we all have. So, I think that has been comforting anytime, just to realize that you have to be proud of who you are, what you've done. There's no need to compare yourself to someone else. If you're authentic and you give the world your best and you want to share that with the world, that's a gift. And you have to be proud and be grateful.
Yeah. I love all of those things. Honestly, they all hit home because I, like you, I did not do graphic design in college. I taught myself on YouTube, maybe, I guess, 5 years ago now. But I will always consider myself such an amateur, no matter what clients I get, no matter how much people say they love my designs. I just will always think of myself as such an amateur. And it is really hard, that imposter syndrome of always feeling like you're just you don't really deserve the acclaim. You don't really deserve the success. And what's interesting though is sometimes it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. It just matters what your vision is. And clearly you had an incredible vision, and it didn't matter what your background was. The fact is you made incredible things and you had an incredible eye, and that's really all that matters. So I think that was beautiful. And also just rooting for others. I think we're so bad at that. Special people are good at rooting for others. Those are not easy to come by at all. I think those are very special people. So I think it's something that we could all be better at, and having that genuine happiness for other people's success, I think is really incredible.
Yep. You're exactly right. Then another thought just came to my head, another quote.
Say it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
This one, comparison is a thief of joy.
One of my favorite quotes. It's in my book.
Who is that?
I want to say it's Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay. No, I think you might be right.
If I'm wrong, that's so embarrassing because I'm supposed to be good at this quote thing, but I want to say it's Theo. It's a good quote. And actually though, so on that level, on the note of comparison, is there like a certain story or experience where you just remember thinking about some of this advice you've heard and having it kind of shift, let's say, your mindset on things?
Yeah. There's been so many times where I have felt like giving up, and I just truly tell myself, like, this is over. This has to end. I can't do this anymore. It's too much. And whether that means I go to a friend or I go to my husband or the therapist, I really rely a lot on other people. And sometimes I wish I didn't. I wish that I was a little bit more, I'm for sure independent in a lot of ways, but I've always been a girl. I've always had a lot of friends. I've always felt the need to be really close with my friends. And to this day, I still try to keep, in decent close contact with my best and oldest and dearest friends. And so I feel like it's the times when I've had those conversations with friends where, whether it's a quote they've given me or it's a note they've sent me in the mail, or it's just that text you get in the middle of the work week when they're like, hey, I love you. I'm thinking about you and I get you, And so I think for me, it's not necessarily like one moment or one specific quote. I'm sure there's been a lot of those over the years. I've had great mentors and lots of friends who do things similar to me, businesswomen, entrepreneurs. But yeah, I think it's those friends who really know you truly. And when they tell you that they love you, and despite you're crazy, I think that people, business minds or creatives, I'm both of those, but I'm essentially a total cuckoo crazy person because I try to do too much and I try to be too many places. I definitely overcommit to things. And I think at the end of the day, the fact that like my people and my friends still love me and still take me for who I am. And when they tell me that and I'm reminded of that, it makes everything that feels huge and important like fade away. When I realize like at the end of the day, I'm a person and I have a heart and I have people who love me and I have good things that I am trying to do. And even if I made some huge mistake or my business is down or some big, issue happened this week, I think it's just getting back to who you are and reminding yourself of that or being reminded of that by someone who knows you.
That's amazing. I love that. I think that's beautiful and grounding. And I think that's great advice in itself. Go to the people that remind you how amazing you are. And the people that actually know you, not the rando people on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really great. Great advice. This was all beautiful, beautiful advice. And you're so well spoken and clearly so successful. And I do want to, so we finish it off, ask where people can go to follow you.
Okay.
So give us some handles.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Caitlin Wilson Design on Instagram. And Caitlin Wilson is my personal Instagram. And since my book is coming out this year, I have kind of turned more towards giving more to people on Caitlin Wilson. So Caitlin Wilson is definitely more my private life, my personal life. And Caitlin Wilson Design is more of my business, my product line. So you can find my product line on CaitlinWilson.com. And you said it right. It's wallpaper, pillows, rugs, furniture galore. And
beautiful things.
My book is coming out. I'm sure I have a Twitter or something. I don't know. Somebody's Twitter one day long ago. have a TikTok, but I don't know the login. Uh, so yeah, I don't know what I am on TikTok, but I think I'm on there. But then my book is coming out this spring. It's
Yes.
Return to Pretty, and it's an Abrams title. It will be out on April 18th, and you can buy that on Amazon. You can buy it on Barnes & Noble. If you're in the UK, Waterstones, lots of different places, and Terabang, bookstore.com. Those are all the titles I can think of.
I am so excited.
Thank you. I'll definitely send you one.
Go follow Caitlin. Keep your eyes peeled for the book. And Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us. And to all of our listeners, thank you for listening to The Shift.
Thank you.